Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, my god, my god, my god, my god, my god, my god. Oh. What are you? You're gonna have to excuse me, but this is the first time that I have seen blue sky, I think, since being back in London. In like 10 days or so? That's fucking crazy. No, don't look at me. Oh, sweet, delicious blue sky. It's beautiful. And on that note, welcome. And my feet are very cold, but my head is bone dry. I had plans this morning, but they fell through. And so, as a result, I figured, why not take a little bit of an adventure? Why not go on a nice park walk, given this rare blue shit is in the air, but not near where I live in East London, which is great, but I want to go back to my favorite park in London, because I haven't been there in ages, walk around, maybe show you, person viewing on the internet, maybe you haven't been there before, maybe it's something you've never seen before, so we can go together and revel in the greenery that fills the gaping void in our souls. Come along. But first, breakfast. Breakfast was delicious. I know it would have been nice to show you for the continuity of this, but some things you don't get to see. Breakfast should be a confidential experience. It's a very intimate moment between man and omelette. Man, omelette and coffee, not YouTube. So now we're gonna go to the park. We have to get a train there, so let's see how it goes.
The next station is Haggerston. For all stations.
Taking a bit of a walk through memory lane here. It is memory lane for me because this is where I used to live. The last place I used to live before my current place of residency. Nice memories from around here. Mixed feelings. Taking a quick pit stop here at my favorite little coffee shop in Camden on Parkway, and it's not a conventional spot. There are spots way more hipster and way more, you know, acquainted to the corny millennial self that is I. However, this place is the only place that does a delightful Greek coffee. And even though I'm not Greek at all, in many ways, aren't all of us want to be Greeks? Deep down, we long for it. We long to be a part of a country with beautiful beaches and delicious tzatziki. I don't know, I do. But anyway, this is Parkway, one of the main kind of promenades in Camden area. Once, no doubt, home to the rock and roll scene, record shops, everything like that you would want to be a part of. Nowadays, more home to Spanish tour groups. That's progress, that's capitalism. That's what happens. Back for the first time in a while. My mate, unfortunately, is not working here today, so I couldn't introduce you to him, but, you know, maybe he wouldn't want to be on camera anyway. Maybe he wouldn't want to be premiered on the esteemed channel Where Ant Goes. Not everyone's cut out for the big screen, people. People aren't cut out all the time for 90 subscribers on YouTube. It's okay. Can't judge them. Onwards. Okay, we're in the park now, so I feel a bit more comfortable pulling my camera out and filming myself. I have to say that there is a high degree of shamelessness that has to be taken on board in order to accept the fact that if you're going to put a video on YouTube and film yourself, you're going to look like an absolute donut, as they would say, in public. But for someone like me that has increasingly less shame, maybe that fits the bill. It is quite liberating to speak to a camera knowing full well you look like said donut. Straight up Krispy Kreme, living the dream. Dog. I used to live just across the road back there, like a 2-minute walk away from this park, and so the amount of times in my in my life here that I would wake up in the morning, walk outside and do loops around this park, whether I was happy, sad, angry, frustrated, anxious, all of the emotions on the beautiful human spectrum. Walking through this amazing park was healing all the time. Naturally, in kind of big metropolises like London, it's difficult to always find green open spaces for you to be able to walk around, but I think that when you do find it, it's very important, and no wonder that this is, I think, probably the best park in the city. If you say Hyde Park, you're wrong. Unless it's Winter Wonderland, then you're more wrong. So, pick your answer. There's different ways that we could do this walk. We could go the loop down this way, which will take us past the duck pond and all these nice kind of things. Or we can go this way, which will take us around past the fields and near the zoo. Each option has their own merits. Each option has their own animal selection, which is just like, really, what else could you hope for but that? So you can choose ducks or various animals. Let's do ducks and save the zoo for last. But rest assured, the zoo will happen, but the ducks come first. The ducks always come first. Now, as we walk through this park, wouldn't it be spicy if I was to reel off some historical facts? Wouldn't the people really like that? Not that I know these facts myself, of course, but what if there was some kind of website that you could access that could tell you said historical facts for the price of $3.99. Oh my god, no, shut up, no one wants to hear that. Or what? You want to hear it anyway? Alright, we'll just do it anyway. So, in the Middle Ages, the land was part of the manor of Tyburn. Yeah. Reflective of the onerous fashion choices of the day, where the clothing would singe your skin to the core. And of course, this is my friend, Robert, who's being quite shy right now. Now listen, Robert, we talked about this, but yeah, that's right. Don't you rush up on me like that. Robert, of course, is good mates with Joey the Wallaby, Jojo Shabadoo, who featured on the Jarvis Bay wedding video, which some of you may have seen. Hey, long lost friends and associates, sometimes pen pals, sometimes lovers. That's not for me to judge, that's the animal kingdom doing its thing. A couple other fun facts for you here. The 1530s dissolution of the monasteries meant that Henry VIII appropriated it. He didn't get up to much in his time. Seemed like a pretty chill dude. He of course had to live with the insecurity of being the 8th Henry, which may or may not have had some kind of implication for, you know, causing the separation of Christianity into two, and as a result creating a trickle-down effect which would cause significant wars and ongoing tension across the human population that exists even still today. But he was the 8th, so we have to cut him some slack and understand where he was coming from in that regard. More fun facts is that the park was initially the idea of a chap called Prince Regent. Pretty self-indulgent name. You can pick one of the two names to signify the self-confidence that you have. I feel like two isn't necessarily a good bloke thing to do. It's like calling yourself King God. It's not really necessary. Like, we understood one of the two superlatives. You didn't really need to kind of double down on that. This is another friend of mine I'd like to introduce you to. His name is Hector. Don't tell me what to do. But that is true though. You really shouldn't feed the birds, especially down this stretch here. Often, I mean in the warmer months when people are more sane and want to hang outside more, but in the warmer months when you're walking around down here, often you'll see tourists chucking like entire loaves of bread for the birds to eat. Now if you're a bird, you're looking at that deal that's on the table and you're thinking, sliced bread, a gift from the human gods. Who am I to say no? Only to figure out later that that kind of thing is probably going to kill a bird. Definitely going to disrupt the ecosystem in some kind of way. And so when I see a 5-year-old toddler chucking out loaves of Wonder White bread for these cute little ducks and birds to eat, I'm not saying that I've ever wished violence or ill on a toddler, but if they were to kind of stumble and fall into the freezing pond here, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to happen. Life comes at you fast when you fuck with the ecosystem. Isn't that right, Bruce? There's a lot of Saturday morning sport that goes on here with all the little kids and all the school groups, which is really nice to see because it kind of reminds me of when I was doing Saturday sport when I was a little one, being part of such esteemed teams as the 9Gs, the 10Zs, receiving participation medals, being on the receiving end of forfeited games when the scoreline blew out to like 10-0 in football. These are really kind of crucial character building experiences when you grow up. And so nowadays when I see kids also getting the absolute pants handed to them on the football field, it reminds me of what it's like to grow up and learn that you're really shit at sport. It's an important experience. All right, let's continue. Coming up to a place of significance for me that makes no sense to anyone else really. I always chuckle when I come past here. You'll notice that everyone walking around here is, you know, like a walker or a runner. There's bikes, but they're on the road there. One time I was walking right here as I was, and this cyclist kind of like came right down onto here. Ironically, where it says no cycling. And as I kind of changed my step direction for one moment, as is my wont as a walker, with about as much threat as a fucking butterfly, that somehow cut his cycling path off. And so he had to swerve off the footpath into the grass for about 1 second. So perturbed was he, so angry was he, that he decided to turn around, come past me, and start to try and rage at me. The only problem was, of course, is that he was wearing very skin-tight lycra in many fluoro colors. Hot tip if you're trying to tell someone off. You're going to want to project confidence and intimidation, and if you're wearing fluoro lycra and come across as a petulant child, that's not really going to work for you. Also, in general, I'll just put it out there, is that cyclists are the least intimidating of people. And if you're listening to this and you're a cyclist and you're thinking, well, not me, I'm a regular contributing member of society, perhaps I over-contribute with my lack of fossil fuel consumption, I'd just like to say to you that you too are a terrible person. Now we are at another great area of the park here, mainly because we're on the adjacent border of London Zoo, Regent's Park Zoo, whatever it's called. I don't know, it's a zoo. Sue me. One of the really funny things is that I don't think the camera's going to pick it up, but in this specific location, I believe this is like some kind of Australia exhibit where there are some kangaroos, I believe. And right now, in the distance up here, I don't know if you can see, there is an emu. There's a freaking emu just hanging out on a wintry January morning in the UK. I'm very sorry that you're here, emu. You must be very confused. Zoos are very ethically confusing places. If they contribute to the protection and education and awareness of the beauty of biodiversity, then that's a good thing. But do they need to be in London in January? Does anyone need to be in London in January? Haven't the animals suffered enough? Not this dog, he's having a good time, but for the emu, the poor clueless emu, what has he done to deserve this? I mean, on days like today, he's doing pretty well, but on days like tomorrow, when it's shit again, what shall the emu do? Won't somebody think of the emu? We have a monkey exhibit in here. If I was to walk down this treacherous, muddy path, we could see it more, but I think that if I was to try and walk down here, there will be an 85% chance that I will fall flat on my buttocks. And while you as the viewer may want to see that so that you can laugh at me, I as the filmer do not. And who's got the camera? It's me. So sucks to be you. You're gonna have to see me fall on my coccyx another day. Well, well, well. What do we have here? What do we have here? Well, a bit of time has passed, and I bumped into the lovely Laura
Morning
and the
to you.
lovely Logs. We are now walking up Primrose Hill. We live somewhere over here. I don't know, the finger's blurry, it's not very helpful. Now, keen viewers of Where Ant Goes would be familiar with this man from previous videos such as Kuala Lumpur Socceroos qualifier.
Qatar, Coif.
That video was unreleased due to privacy concerns. As a resident Camdenite and frequenter of Primrose Hill, what's your favourite part about being around here?
I think for me it's just I know not right now, but the peace and quiet everywhere else. So this is obviously the main spot where people go, but you come at different parts of the afternoon, go to the park behind. The space is yours completely, and that's what it's nice to come and clear your head, particularly when it's sunny.
Yeah.
Go down there, put a towel down, get some tan on your furry chest.
Oh.
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, in summertime, like picnics all the way kind of down this hill into the park, it's really nice. don't let the kind of cloud of low quality weed put you off, because the vibes will nonetheless be quite exquisite. Peace out, Primrose Hill. I wish to return to you in the summertime when I can sit on the grass and not be covered in mud. But respect, keep on doing your thing. And now we are kind of descending into the main strip of Primrose Hill, where you must be this tall in your trust fund in order to ride the ride. And yet here we are, walking through, disobeying the class system of the UK in order to bring you fresh, spicy content such as this. This is a shop called It's Bagels. It may surprise you to hear that they sell bagels. Usually there'll be a line kind of way longer than that, and I find it's quite a honey trap for all of the American expats who come to the UK thinking that all of the UK is very quaint, picturesque streets such as this, but then they discover that it's not, and the dreams of their life burst, which is an inevitability for all of us at some point, and you find yourself catching the Northern Line in the morning to an office and having your ears destroyed by screeching metal. This man can relate to it.
Fuck, it's worse than a concert I go to.
And he likes metal. So It's Bagels, I think, was the first bagel shop to open like a year or two ago, to roaring success. Then along came Ronnie, who started his own bagel shop to cash in on the trend. Sometimes innovation isn't about reinventing the wheel or reinventing the bagel, as it were. It's just about cashing in and dipping your toes while the water's warm.
Talking about a place that cashes in, Lamonia, Greek festivities time.
Oh!
This is a beautiful street, I think. It's got quite a few pubs down here.
Oh, what's your
Princess
favourite?
of Wales, Lansdowne's here, and then the Engineer.
They are all excellent pubs. Now, I've been trying to do dry January since being back, which isn't really dry January, it's missing the first 2 weeks. So it's like the back half of dry January. You may be thinking to yourself, that's a piss poor effort, and you'd be correct in that assumption. But as I sit here after about 10 days of not being on the beers, in many ways I think I deserve the beers. Wouldn't you agree, Alex?
Couldn't agree more.
And so with that, my weak resolve has been broken by the slightest suggestion and craving of beers.
Up the Walsall.
Up the Walsall Saddlers. Don't judge me.
Judge the beer.
I am but a human. Onwards. This is Camden Lock. Important thoroughfare for canal boats to come through and change the elevation of their boats. Speaking of real cultural hubs, this is the famous Wetherspoons, which has probably got to be one of the best spoons in London in terms of real estate opportunity. You can sit outside and perhaps I'll wet my whistle right now. There's something about a Corona on tap when you find it. It's a rare species. Now this man enjoys it perhaps more than anyone.
I love a froth.
Right, no more camera. Drinking time.